Hendricks, and we're going to be working on this African wildcat again here. Got the form already, I showed you that, and now I'm going to start putting the skin on. He said it was a commercially wet tan skin, and so there wasn't a huge amount of prep work or anything going on with the body part of it. I did have to prep the head, and I'll talk about that later. The toes, they needed a little bit of attention, you know, getting them skinned out and thinned and stuff all the way out to the claw. So anyway, I'm putting this together now, slipping the skin on, being real careful with this because it's a very weak skin in areas that are exceptionally weak, just want to tear. So, but other parts of it are pretty strong. So I'm putting some clay in the toes, just like I did with the bobcats. I use oil-based clay, and you can go back to my other videos and see that. I just prefer using the oil base, and I'll start sewing up the legs once I get the toes in there. We turn this into a half mount, like I said, because of the skin being in bad condition on the back half. So using dental floss for my thread, small needle. You'll notice on this one, this video is a little different than others. I'm not going to be using any hide paste on the body and the legs, and it's because I can't really pull these seams and stitches tight because the skin is so weak. So I've got it fitting loose enough that I don't have to taxi the skin a lot. In most cases, your glue is much, if not more, for taxing than it is for actually holding things in place. And I like to mount everything loose, so really the glue is just to help slide things around for me most of the time. A little bit of filling here and there when I do use the caulking. So, but like I said, I've got the skin on, and I'm starting to sew up the legs. And I'll just continue with that. See, I think I've detached the one leg here, and then I've used the upholsterer's regulator needles there, I guess they are, to kind of hold it in a position so it's handy for me to sew it. And once I get that sewn up, I'll reattach that leg. Trying to keep as much hair out of the stitches as I can. Brush it back, brush the hair back before I pull them tight. I use a baseball stitch. That's where each time the needle goes into the leather side and comes out on the hair side, just back and forth. It does seem to help keep the hair out of the stitches a little better. Geez, there's one leg already. I seem to be slower sewing in high speed than a lot of people are in real time. screwed the leg back on the skin back around now. This has a cut down the middle of the back, a dorsal cut, so now I'm sewing that up. Then I will pull the head skin back over the neck, over that post and back over the neck, and I will put the head in through the mouth then. When I get to the back end, I'm just going to pin this around the back. It's just all foam. I don't have any wood backboard in that or anything. Like I said, the skin is so weak on this particular animal that I didn't use much glue, and it's kind of shredded in spots, so I really needed to be careful with it at the back half there. Just kind of closing things up as best I can and really trying to hide as much of the damage as I can. But keeping an eye on my hair patterns. I still want hair patterns to be relatively close to where they belong. I'm blow drying the ears. Going to get ready to epoxy the ears now. I'm painting the cartilages. I used a mix of gill red and sienna and a little bit of flesh color in there. I should have used a little more flesh. It was a little intense for the bobcat, or for this African wildcat ears, because the inner ear skins were so thin.